Well, hi, Kim.
Hey, how are you?
Well, Tim, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Brittney, you're a teacher, so what's been going on with schools?
Turns out that actually teaching from home is probably 10 times harder than teaching in the classroom. It's way more time intensive.
Really, that was kind of unnerving when you saw the president come on and pretty well say, hey, we're not going to be allowing any more travel from Europe, and we're starting to do some quarantining.
It's been really kind of hard, I think, because all of a sudden, you're cut off from a lot of people that you really kind of love and cherish, at least, to be with them in person. For example, my oldest daughter, she has 3 of our close grandkids that we just love and adore, but she has some health problems, so she doesn't want to be affected at all. And so she's kind of said, well, since the governor made his announcement that you guys better not come over. So they're worried about us, but she's worried about her health too, because if she caught it, it'd be pretty serious.
It's just amazing being home with 4 kids all day long, quarantine, no friends, going and doing their tumbling and their soccer and their baseball. I mean, it's all gone. So I think that's the hardest thing, is that they know what they're missing out on. And there's some rough times.
I still go to work. However, we take great precautions at work, so it's changed the way that we interact. But that means, of course, that all of the responsibility falls upon Natalie. And so she's home all day with the kids, and she's responsible for continuing schoolwork, but also as a referee, of course, when they're all in the same confined space. And so it's been an interesting experience.
I would say the hardest part is homeschooling. There is a reason why I am on city council and not a school teacher. And I can never be a school teacher. I'll just put it like that.
We're all learning that, huh?
Yeah. It's been fun though. They're actually pretty good at just getting their work done, and I've realized, I've actually figured out how they work and what works to motivate them, what doesn't. So it's great to kind of get to know them on a little bit of a deeper level. So I would say the hardest part of this whole quarantine for me is watching people who I love have a hard time and not being able to jump in, because I'm a fixer. I have an aunt who lost her husband, my uncle, recently, right before this whole thing started. And so she's alone now with a severely handicapped daughter. And there's nothing I can do there, right? I order groceries and that's all I can do. So that's hard to watch.
They haven't been scared or concerned, but they have been, I'm going to go with sad, I think. And it's because they're very social kids. And of course, with my oldest, who's 18 and getting ready to graduate from Lone Peak, it's a burden because we don't know if there's going to be a graduation ceremony, that is. We don't know how to plan. We're not sure what to do. And he's missing out on a lot of end of the year activities also. So it's been impactful for everyone in different ways.
There is nothing that helps you. It will be awkward if I start to cry. There's nothing that helps you realize how grateful you should be until you see somebody who doesn't have what you have. I've just been learning a lot. And I think it's a time where we all have learned not to take things for granted.
And so I remember one call it was a nail shop. She'd been there for 10 years. And when I got a hold of her, it was the day that I believe it was the 18th. It was when the order came that non-essential businesses need to close. Those being, the nail shops, the hair salons. And I happened to call Maya that day, and she was crying. And it was really hard. And I remember telling Maya, I says, Maya, my goal is to make sure you're still going to be in business when this is all over. Don't worry about it. We'll work through the whole rent situation. And it was such an emotional, all the other things was very emotional, but just to hear someone else feeling like they're losing everything they'd worked for that one really caught me. I mean, and I'll admit, I looked at my wife and I was just crying. It just really brought it kind of just set things more in reality, what was going on.
Like Mayor Mann says, there's a difference between social distancing and physical distancing. And just because we're supposed to physical distance doesn't mean we need a social distance. And so I figured out that new norm for me is not, I can be social. I still can go, hang outside my front yard, wave at my neighbor. We can sit in lawn chairs in each other's yards, listen to Hawaiian music, we can chat, and we don't need to be afraid.
As with most things, there are two sides to every story, and what would appear to be a curse can actually be a blessing. And that has been the case in our family, where in the beginning it seemed to be a curse, but now that we have more time to spend together, it's turning into a blessing. And I'm able to spend some time with my children that I wasn't previously able to do because of all their activities and all their sports and all the different things that they did after school. But now those things don't exist, and so we're able to spend that time together, which has been quite a blessing.
We've noticed that we have 3 college-age kids that are down in the Warren-Provo area, and all 3 of them are communicating a little more with us, where we're talking to them a lot more. If it be, it'd be maybe once a week, we're now talking 3 or 4 times a week, see how they're doing. They're communicating more open with us of what's going on in their life. So if I could have something that I'd like to stay, is the communication, I think, that's happened, and the family time. It has been kind of a good, quiet family time.
Time with our kids, our freedom to do what we want, our education, our families. I think that's the thing that we will all take away from this. At least I know I will.
He said, the party will be in the afternoon. We would like you to come before noon and write a birthday message on our driveway. So we went, and while we were there, a couple other couples came and wrote stuff, and it was really quite fun. And the girl was standing in the doorway and just really excited, and oh, look at that! And it was, and I talked to the mom afterwards, and she said, I was worried, but this lasted for a long time, and it was really a good thing as opposed to being a bad thing. So there are things we can do to make it better.
We've been having Sunday dinners forever, and we're just really uncomfortable doing that. But she kind of lets us come over. We went over and watched them over the fence do an Easter egg hunt today in their backyard. So it was kind of crazy. So it's been pretty stressful. And as a person too, we were in the process of remodeling, and my theme is never remodel during a pandemic.
That's good guidance.
I was concerned because the term social distancing has a negative connotation to it, and I can understand that we need to be separate from each other so that we don't spread a disease around, but I would rather be called physical distancing so that we can still maintain our relationships.
Suzanne said, I would rather have it be called physical distancing than social distancing because, like she said, social distancing in her mind has a negative connotation. I'm an introvert, and I could sit in my room and read and get on my computer without interacting with anybody for a long time, and it wouldn't bother me. Suzanne, on the other hand, she's a very social person, so we're complementary in that regard, and this was really troubling her.
I could just see in people's faces that they were hurting, that they were sad, that there's fear. There was a lot of that going on, especially since we can't be next to each other and have to have this social distancing. And so one day I said to Rod, you're the mayor, maybe you can do something about this and help people feel better and have a positive outlook.
all around you. Open your eyes, open your eyes. You can't buy the peace you're after, so don't even try.